Savage, savage, when you're savage, savage, when you're savage, savage, when you're savage.
Jeez.
Hello, babe.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Sharice. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sharice Lovett. How you doing today?
I'm great. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. Just waking up a little bit, but
I
but
feel
I'm
you.
good. I'm good. I'm ready for this interview here.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy you are here. Wonderful. We work together.
We do.
All right. So I hear you have a podcast. Oh, you're on a podcast? What's the name of it?
The podcast is called DTR Incorporated. Is taking dreams and making it reality. So the purpose of our podcast is I am a change. And so we like to talk to change agents, whatever that type of change would be and what it looks like to you. So we've had teachers and preachers. I know our most recent episode, we did a lady who is a convicted felon, has gotten a pardon from the governor in Virginia, who now has a ministry. Her story was amazing. So it's like I said, it's what change looks like to somebody. So my change is different than your change, but we're all a change agent.
Oh, I like that. What's your target audience?
Anybody who wants to listen.
Anybody? Cool. So, tell them where they can see you at.
So, and I knew you were going to do this, and so the website has changed. So it's d2rinc.org. So d2rinc.org. And like I said, our goal is not to be better than anybody, but together we can achieve better for everybody.
I like that.
That's right.
And who's on that podcast?
So my co-host, Michael Davis out of Seattle, Washington, Jason Redmond out of Durham, North Carolina, myself. And every Tuesday we're dropping a new episode, chopping up with amazing people.
What time is that?
The episode drops at various times. So it's not a live episode. They're pre-recorded. Yeah. So, but they do drop every Tuesday.
Nice. I'm going to check that out. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So, like you said, I'm Sharice. I wear so many. I'm a mom. I'm a Gigi. Soon to be graduate with my master's from UNCG. An entrepreneur. Work in the community and recreation. So I do a whole bunch. Originally from Florida, going back to Florida in the next couple of weeks. So my time in North Carolina is coming to an end, but I've enjoyed it. So I know I'm sad, but I'm ready for the beach. I'm 5 minutes from the beach.
I hear you. I would love to be there.
So I'm excited. So that's me as like what if I had to describe myself on all those things. But of course, everybody has a background. Everybody has a story to get me to where I am today.
All right. So as far as I'm start off. So as far as the community, do you like mentor anyone or like who do you talk to in the community?
So for my career, I work in parks and recreation. So I have so I recently left a recreation center in Winston-Salem, and it was teens. So I had a whole bunch of teen programs, But as far as the nonprofit with DTR, I have a girls mentoring group called Team Gen, which means is a play on the word generation. It stands for
Okay.
Getting Empowered Now. So 12 to 17-year-old girls, um, and we do it in 12-week sessions. And so every week we have a different topic. We talk about entrepreneurship. We talk about mental health, physical health, skincare, sexual health, because I'm a realist.
Yeah.
People like to try to hide and say, "Oh, my child's not," but access to social media, they're exposed to a lot more than we were exposed to growing up.
Yeah. The
So, and they go through this program, and they have like a little graduation, and it's so much fun just to see the growth of the ladies. And so the goal is once they finish, they come back and mentor the next set of girls.
okay.
And
Is
so
it tough mentoring them or pretty easy?
it is, it can be. It's the ones that fight it. So you have some that look forward to coming every week. I know the last session we had a student that she walked to the program. So that's how dedicated she was. Like she said, she wasn't going to let the fact that, transportation was limited in her family. So she walked to the program. We have some that don't want to be there, but mom is like, "You're going to go." And so we try to meet them where they are.
Okay.
We show up in, leggings, t-shirts, so they're comfortable. So it's not, yeah, I'm not showing up in dress pants and a blazer. We let them know it's a safe space. So what's talked about in the space stays there, unless of course, it's harm that they want to. Yeah, but for the most part, like we have some that drop off just from lack of interest. But it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
What kind of activities you guys like? Do you do like activities to get them like into it, excited about into the
Yeah.
Girls Club?
So like we'll have, with the pandemic, we have guest speakers coming in. For those that are comfortable, we'll do virtual guest speakers. We did a self-guided tour last session. We did a self-guided tour of NC State. We did a vote to let them choose which college they wanted to go to for the tour. So some things, like we have a curriculum, but some things we let them choose. So like you give them options, and so in their mind they've chosen what we're doing So these are like your options. We're going to do one of these three things. So you just decide which item we're going to do. And so in the program kind of stemmed from when I was working in Durham, North Carolina. I had a girls program, and they actually, when they were working on their table manners and learning to set a table and etiquette, we went to a restaurant that provided 12 full course meals for the girls. So they all were able to go dress up and use the skills they learned. Yeah. And so, our goal is to expose them to things that their parents may not be able to, or, even have the time to.
Right.
So
I like that. That's a good idea. And you see a lot of girls changing and the health, like.
They're required to write every week. So if it's taking notes from speakers or having reflection time, and then they're able to keep those books afterwards, just to see, because if you only meet them once a week for 12 weeks, you may lose what you or forget what we talked about at the beginning of the program. So they have like a memory book of everything that was talked about.
Nice. And I feel like if there's any girls that's watching, how would they get to reach you in that aspect?
So it's going back to that same website,
Same
so
website.
all of our information is up there.
All right, cool. So you said you had your master's degree, right?
I will be walking across the stage December 10th at 10 a.m. Y'all, I am so excited. That came with blood, sweat, and literally tears.
I believe it. So is the master's? What is the master's in?
It's in Parks and Rec Management.
Okay.
So
what do you use that for?
My goal is to one day have my own recreation facility, like department. And if I I wanted to have a department, and then I also want to run a separate nonprofit facility that offers leisure services.
Okay.
So where we can house the mentoring group and things like that.
Wow. And where are you trying to locate to? Like, you're gonna try to have that in Florida, or you're gonna try to, or does it really matter? You're
It
just gonna
doesn't
try.
really matter. Mm-mm. Wherever I can get a brick and mortar.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. We get start from somewhere.
Yes, wherever I can get a brick and mortar.
All right. So tell me about this. You said you had a rocky start in your life.
So
What?
yeah, when I reflect back on my life and I say, at what point did I decide to become like rebellious and independent in my mind, independent? So like growing up, we were always involved in Girl Scouts, 4-H. My mom made sure that we were busy.
Right.
And so I feel like some of that was me like fighting against it because it was like, I see my friends doing these things. I remember in high school, hanging out at Crabtree Valley Mall and like in the parking deck, and somebody was drinking and we got kicked out of the parking deck. And I mean, like, that was fun for me because I had to sneak out there, and it's like, oh my God, this is what y'all are doing on a regular. But to me, because like my mom made sure that, I don't know, we were sheltered, but so it was just like, it was like an adrenaline thing. I was like, dang, this is what I'm missing. So I became a statistic at 16. I got pregnant at 16 in high school. I was playing school ball and had my daughter as a senior at 17. So I had gone to basketball court, not basketball court, basketball camp, had at North Carolina Central, and had spoken with the coach, like everything ready to rock and roll, go for your physical to play your senior year, and you're like, boop, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, so I was like, I'm not playing my senior year, but I had always told myself that I'll wear the statistic of being with the pregnancy, but not finishing high school was an option. So if you look at my high school graduation picture, I have a 3-month-old, March, April, May, June, 3-month-old on my hip with my cap and gown on. So like, yeah, dropping out of high school was, we weren't gonna do that. So
how was it in school with the child?
It was hard. So a lot of people don't know when my mom had a way of finding like the craziest resources for stuff. And so I stayed in a maternity home actually when I was pregnant. So I wasn't at the house. I was in a facility for pregnant women here in Raleigh. And so I still went to school. They made sure I went to school. Afterwards, I had to, of course, make the decision to parent or to place my child for adoption. My first decision actually was to place her for adoption.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that either. So,
you chose that.
Yeah, because I was looking at like, I don't have the means to parent, and to me it would have been selfish to try to struggle with her than to find a suitable set of parents that could provide for her. Then the law was if you knew who the father was, they had to agree to it. He didn't agree. And so, for lack of better words, I was stuck. And my mom was like, well, you're going to figure it out. And so it was getting a job, going to school, working with my teachers, the recovery time after having a baby. So I was still home for 6 weeks. So having teachers bringing the work to the house, taking my tests that way, and then getting, going back to school because now you're embarrassed, right. So, but I found out afterwards, as you get older, like there was a lot of us pregnant in high school. Like I look at some of my classmates, I'm like, oh, we all have kids around the same age. I don't know what was going on that year, but no, it was just that fight. It That's just what we had to do. I work, you put her in daycare, you go to school. I go work a couple hours after school. I didn't drive, so I was either relying on friends or I found a taxi company and I just asked for like a specific driver and just ran a tab with them for the week. And when I got paid is when I paid them. So yeah. So I was, you make it do what it do.
Right. So was there ever a time going through this? Was there ever a time where you're so frustrated you just wanted to give up?
Oh, plenty of times. I think my lowest was probably when I turned 18. And, at the time when you're going through it, you're like, why is this happening to me? Like you ask your mom, like, you really don't love me. So she was like, I don't live with adults. So you're 18, you're an adult. I was like, I'm not looking for an apartment. What do you want me to do? So she put me at the homeless shelter. Me and my daughter.
Hey, I was trying to teach a lesson, I guess.
I was like, you are wrong. But no, it was that at that point, you're there with like people from like the craziest backgrounds, like prostitutes, drug addicts, and I'm just like I just graduated high school, like what am I doing here? Because people look, they're like, why are you here? And ask my mama that. I'm like, I really didn't. And it was like for real. My birthday's in January. 2 days after my birthday, she had a car packed and had me at this homeless shelter.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So now that you're looking back, do you think that it was for a reason?
I think it made me. I know it made me grow up. It was. I had to grow up. I had to say, okay, this is not where I'm going to stay. So I enrolled in college from there. I went through their program, which wasn't hard for me because being a high school graduate. So it was like the Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, like stuff I was doing in school. The one thing that I thought was neat because it was in Durham was they did like medical terminology and coding and stuff. And that was to help people get a job in the healthcare field, like it did. So I thought that was interesting, but it was like, that's not what I want to do. I always wanted to be a police officer. So I wanted to go to school and I was going to be a police officer.
Why is that?
And I don't know what it is about policing. I was big, like when I was in my undergrad program in criminal justice, like community policing was just what I love. I wanted to be one of those officers where you saw me, like how you see officers now going to neighborhoods and shooting basketball with the kids and stuff, and it's being recorded. Okay, you don't see it, I see it.
No, not at all.
So I wanted to be that officer where you saw me before you needed me, type thing.
Right.
Where I could ride through the neighborhood and I'm like, hey, little Johnny, what's going on? How's school going? Stuff like that.
Right.
That's what I wanted to do.
That's cool. So, would you still want to be a police officer to this day?
If I could pass the physical exam, I would love to be a police officer, but them days are over. Yeah. I'm not running for anybody.
Do you really think? Because all right, so I know that we all see what goes on with officers now. How would you respond in that situation? Like, would you think you would make a difference as a police officer?
I feel like
police officer
in any profession, you have good people and bad people. In any profession, unfortunately, in policing, the bad even though I feel like the percentage of bad is small. They just have made a horrible name or tainted the name of police officers. I know plenty of Black female police officers who are amazing, like ranking police officers. And I think you have to understand the stress of the job. These people are having to make some split second decisions. So there's also some who I think are hiding behind the badge
Mm.
when they make these decisions. That's just my opinion, where um, they feel like they have the badge on, they can't do any wrong. But for a person who truly understands their purpose, to me, the purpose of a police officer is not to just go out there and find criminals. It's to go out there and be the face of a community.
What do you think they should do to prevent some of these actions or some of the things that these police officers are doing? Because it seems like it's just continuous doing. Like, people are like, we don't like what they're doing, but they continue doing it, and nothing's really changing. They're going to trial, but they're not stopping doing what they're doing. What do you think, as a person that knows, wanted to be a police officer, and I'm sure you do want to change? What do you think they should do to try to strive for that change?
That's so multi-layered. If you start at the bottom, they're short staffed, so they're tired. When fatigue sets in, to me, your judgment lessens then. So if you're looking at current situations with a shortage of police officers, I know I was listening to the news at the number of empty officer positions that were the shooting that happened at South Point Mall.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like this crazy number of vacant officer positions that were supposed to be on duty that day. And then now you have this situation that is now pulling these resources from the street to go deal with the situation, the shooting at the mall. And so now they're stressed doing that. You don't have the officers you still need available on the street if somebody is to make a call, because that's what you're dealing with too, is the time for an officer to get to a call.
Right.
So that's a layered issue. I feel like training. I feel like that blue wall of silence that happens, that has to be torn. Yes, that has to be torn down. Because
I put a post up. Because I was thinking about it, I was like, I watch a lot of these videos. I know it's what they show, but they don't show the good ones versus the bad. So due to that, I always watch, and I just watch how it happens, these situations, how they happen, and I think it's lack of training. You know what I'm saying? The tactical moves and mental tactical moves that you should make in certain situations. One of the last things I watched was a police officer shooting a man in a wheelchair, pretty much in the back.
What's he gonna do? I mean,
he had a knife, but he's in a wheelchair, trying to go into Walmart. But when I watched the video, officer just one of the officers was saying something, the other one just shot him 9 times.
Yeah, that's excessive. That's excessive.
Where's the tactic in that? You know what I mean? So, but you see that often. It's like the person's either unarmed or or they got their back turned.
Mm-hmm. And even the progressive use of force, because it's a man with a knife in a wheelchair. Like, why couldn't you just take him?
What can you do, really?
Yeah. Why not just tase him?
Or I don't know. There's plenty of things you can do. Why not talk to him? You know what I mean? Like, whatever happened to that? I remember those days. The officers could talk to someone, but they even knew the people in the community.
And that's another thing. If there's no vest, and I know that's with working in recreation. When I accepted a job in Winston-Salem, that was one thing that I was up against. People were like, "Well, why do you care about the people here if you don't live in the city?"
Right. It's
I'm a caring person. That's
Yeah.
like I don't. And sometimes you get that it's like, well, if you're not in the community except to work, like, why do you really care about what really goes on here? And I can see a lot of that with police officers. Like I had to earn the trust of the community around the recreation center.
Right.
It was hard.
And what steps did you go through to earn those?
I went out to the schools. So the kids not only saw me in the recreation center, but they also saw me in the schools. Had meetings, trying to meet parents, because I don't like to try to find a parent and get in contact with a parent when a child is misbehaving. Like let's sit and talk, and let me know who you are, and our rules and expectations. But the big thing was I went into schools and did tutoring. So so the kids be like, that's the lady from the rec. That's the lady from the rec.
That's always a good thing,
Yeah. So
cool.
yeah. So it's and people, and again, people ask why, and it's like it wasn't even in my job description, but you had to meet these kids or people where they are at times. So it's.
Are there kids that you mentor that you could relate to? Like similar to your situation?
Not that
Growing
it's,
up, actually.
Yeah, not that it's been similar. My thing is to prevent. If I can prevent somebody from going through what I went through,
yeah,
then I feel like, is that going to happen? No. Like during the pandemic, I had one of my teen girls come back up to the rec. I didn't even realize she just had it makes you realize how long the pandemic has been going. She was pregnant and now has a 9-month-old. And I'm like, where does baby come from? Where does baby come from? So then it's, she's in 8th grade. So it's now, where's your child? What do you need? And, if there's anything I can do to help, because I understand, I get it. I mean, I wasn't in 8th grade, but I get it. My mom, she was there as an emotional support, but no, she didn't come to my room at 2:00 in the morning when my daughter was crying and, go ahead and go to sleep. Your baby crying. Get up, your baby crying.
That's how my mom would be. You know what I mean? Like, you doing this yourself. You got to learn. Mm-hmm. We got Lee's on. Hey, Lee, what's going on?
Hello, Lee.
How you doing? So what are so I was thinking, like, how old is your daughter now?
So I have 3 wonderful children. So my daughter's 22.
Okay, that was your first one.
That's my first baby. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. For those that have multiple daughters, I don't know how my mom did it. Well, the day and age is different, but people who have daughters in this day and age, I pray for y'all daily. Because that heifer gets on my nerves, and she grown and married. She gets on my nerves. I don't know how.
Do you use some of the similar tactics that your mother used with your daughter?
Well, honestly, so at one point my mom had my daughter. So after I got, so we're going back up a little bit. So after I left the homeless shelter and enrolled in school, I got my a little apartment or whatever, and that didn't work. So my mom took her then. I went on campus, and so my mom had her probably until she was maybe 7. Like I had graduated. She came back, and then she stayed for a little bit, and then she went back with my mom. So while she was with me, it was more of trying to build that relationship with her. So a lot of the discipline stuff would have come from my mom, and she was, the grandbaby. So to me, I felt she was spoiled. So she, no, I don't feel like she has nearly suffered like I did. No.
Never knew.
Not nearly. Obviously, because she's a mother herself. So She
Now she
yeah.
been wow.
So she had her first child at 16, and we're just like, whew. And so now it's three of them. They're the cutest. They're the cutest kids. I love them to death. But
Yeah.
she, she, like I said, she's married. They're doing great, as 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 best as a young couple can.
Cool.
You
Cool.
There's a lot, it was growing with between the two of them that needed to happen, but raising a beautiful family, so I'm proud.
It sounds, that's it's kind of almost sounds a little traditional. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
Young, having a baby, married,
Get married, right?
everything. It sounds traditional. It sounds like they're on the right path.
Yeah. So I'm
Um,
I'm I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of
that's good. That's cool. That's cool.
them.
So what would you say, due to what you went through growing up and the struggle that you've been through, what would you say to any like young ladies listening? What would you say to them to kind of help them and prevent them from, um, just struggling in their life? Try to get.
Um, like I said, growing up, like I would have never thought that I would have ended up where I was, like
Mm,
for my struggle. But I always had a drive. So it was never where I was gonna stay. And I think that's what kept me going. I was never gonna allow that low point to be, because some people get down there and wallow. It's okay to feel bad for a little bit, but like what are you gonna do about it? Well, how are you gonna get yourself out of the situation? So I could have ended up at the homeless shelter and wallowed and been like, oh, woe is me. My mom is unfair. What am I going to do? No, I'm going to go to school. Like, because at that time it was drilling your head. You go to a 4-year university.
right,
Now I think one thing that should also, like, we're losing that craft, that HVAC, that carpenter. So it's nothing wrong with a trade school. But I grew up, you're going to a 4-year university. So now it's okay. I have the opportunity to enroll into North Carolina Central University,
mm,
um, and I'm a proud Eagle, class of '06. And so, and I finished school. You go, you you do the college stuff, and I ended up with baby number two. So, I now have a 2-year-old son when I graduate college, and then but it was still fighting through that. It was um I was one of those, and this is where I keep it real when I have my girls group. They're like, well, how was college? I did what I had to do to get through college, and at the end of the day, it literally was what I had to do. I needed to make money, so there was we could read between the lines.
no, no, I can't read. I can't read. I would like to know.
So, and when you have that conversation with them and you tell them, and they're like, you, I'm like, I do,
What are some of these things there?
what are some of
Teresa?
these things?
What are some of these things?
So no, so like, we keep it real here. So I have danced. I was also a half of me. I was a lot smaller.
Mhm.
uh, um have I laid down for money? I have. Leave it on the nightstand. And so, it it wasn't what I wanted to do, but it
Right,
was
right,
what I at the time I felt like I needed to do to survive. Because at one point, like I said, I was trying to maintain a household. You know, you're working a job that's paying 7.25, $8
yeah,
an hour, and it's just like, and the fact that people are still making that to this day is ridiculous.
right, right,
Um, so, it was just those things. And, but at the end of the day, I knew that I needed to graduate.
right,
And so it took me like 5 years to, yeah, 5 years to graduate, but I graduated.
right,
And so, and that's where when I talk to the girls, I let them know it's what is your goal? Now, some people have a straight path. They're in school 4 years, they have college money already set aside. They know they're going to school. They know it's paid for. Their focus is to. But sometimes some people's path swerves and curves and ups and downs, and that's what mine went
Yeah,
all through
do
the
what you gotta
countryside.
do. I definitely don't knock that because I've been through a lot of struggles in my life,
Mhm.
and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean, to survive.
Right.
And the way survival in the world now, you know what I'm saying,
It's
is ridiculous. Sometimes you gotta make choices,
crazy.
crazy choices. And
Yes.
to be honest with you, I know what's that. I'm gonna take that word. Actually, she just put that up there,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna take that word.
privilege.
I'd rather not be privileged.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Due to the things that I've been through in life and the decisions that I had to make, and knowing getting it out of the mud is, you know what I'm saying? It's a struggle, but
It
when
makes
you
you
get
appreciate it.
older, you think, yeah, it makes you appreciate life
Mhm.
and the struggle. Like those people who haven't really done anything, who those people who sit there and just like, oh, you know, look at you, look down at you, and because the decision that you made in life, and they're like, oh, I've never had to, because you've never had to deal with life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You always had somebody to help you with this, always had this. You know what I'm saying? Like in your situation when your mom put you in the shelter. You know what I'm saying? That's the hard reality of it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You're not gonna be in here with that, bull. There you go. You know what I'm saying?
But
It's like some people will be like this. Oh, the mom be like, "Come in, I got you. I'll take care of everything you need." And you know
okay.
what? That's when you start depending on your mom to do this. You don't depend on yourself to do anything.
And then
You
you
know what
get
I'm saying?
mad when they finally tell you no.
Right,
And now
right,
you
right.
now you killed your
That's
parents. You know,
spoiled.
that's
Now you're spoiled.
right. And one thing I can say now, one thing that I can appreciate with her, um,
I don't know if is that German? Plastic sounds like, but you know, I would appreciate that because that's somebody from somewhere else that's
right.
watching this show. Shout out to
Now,
you guys.
one thing I can appreciate is like moving to when I went to the shelter in Durham,
Mhm.
it was a culture shock. Um, you know, we went to a high school that was very, very much, you know, a mixed cultures and everything and races, but it's a concentrated black people in Durham, North Carolina. And so when I was like, they are everywhere. And this is literally my naive self, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh. So it allowed me to embrace my culture and myself because um it's like when I only like my interaction was just like in the school setting and
Yeah,
not necessarily in community because our community outings and things that we did may not have necessarily been with yeah Chocolate City it may not have necessarily been with a lot of other African Americans.
yeah,
So I think that's one thing I did appreciate about going to Durham.
yeah.
So
You think
but
being in Durham helped out a lot? And
yeah,
yeah,
it taught me how to relate to those that had less than.
mhm,
As far as working in the recreation center and understanding their mindset, because their struggle definitely is different than my struggle. We both struggled, but the
yeah,
struggle was different. So even though I was able to come up and come out of like the homeless shelter and things like that,
mhm,
um, graduate, start working in the recreation center, um, and then continue working because, like I said, that's not what I went to school for.
mhm.
Um, because you didn't ask me why I didn't become a police officer.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm honest. I'm not too keen on police. I'm not, and I'm like, yes,
I picked up
I
that vibe
understand.
when I said that.
I understand that people want to be police officers when they're young, but
Yeah, no, that I am. No, I actually shattered my elbow 2 weeks before police academy. So I was coaching.
Somebody warned
Huh?
yeah,
You
that was
said
somebody warning you. Don't do it. Don't do it.
so. Yeah. So that's what happened. When I say heartbroken, heartbroken. Because the song was it Lil Wayne, Mrs. Officer. That was my theme song. That
Oh,
was
you
going
want
that was
some?
going to play every time I opened up my Facebook.
Yeah, what part of we was looking for?
That was my theme song.
So,
So,
listen. At your lowest point of going through this situation,
mhm.
what drove you the most to get it out the mud, to just progress into what you are right
um, I knew I had a purpose. I just had to find that purpose.
now?
I
Yeah.
knew it was something out there better than what I was in. Um,
So big.
and again, that people have to find that and know that. People get beat down and are told that you're not going to ever be this, you're not going to ever be that. And I always knew that I was going to be somebody or something to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just that drive that said you gotta keep on, you're not gonna you're now a homeless single mother, but you can't continue to be a homeless single mother.
Right.
You're in college, but you're not going to be a college dropout, you're going to finish.
Right.
So now you have a college degree, what are you going to do with it? So and that's what you know has kept me moving. And then with the mentoring, there's girls out here that are screaming for help, or just somebody who can, and they're not all coming from bad homes at all. It's just sometimes they have to hear it from somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. So
Somebody probably like that's not their family member.
right. Of course, because hearing it from mom, that's what mom is supposed to say and mom is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find it from somebody who may resemble our aunt or resemble our older cousin. And maybe they're probably saying the same exact thing, but it's the delivery. It's the delivery. Mm-hmm.
Do you think due to, because I see a lot of women going through like early pregnancies and become an adult early,
Mm-hmm.
from the decisions and choices that they make in life. Do you think that's affecting the way this new generation of women and guys, they're both of this, you can see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you think that's not having a mentor or having someone, at your status to help these ladies out, these guys, these ladies out?
Um, I think the change in society altogether,
Mm.
where I don't think people are accepting what, like, the consequences of their decisions. So, for instance, my mom, like I said, my mom made me become responsible. Um, I see these kids nowadays that are going into at the end of the day, grown people activities, and getting caught out there, and their mom's coming to the rescue. So, mom is at home now with your baby, and you still out here in the streets playing.
Right.
No, you need to be at home with your baby. So they're not making them responsible.
Holding them accountable.
Yeah. And so I think that's where the issue is. Like, we know having babies out of wedlock has been going on for a long time. But it's just there's a lot of things that are just more accepted now. It's out in the open. It used to be a time where when you got pregnant, you were sent away, little MMA got missing for 9 months, and she came back. And you're like, where you been? So now it's just, they're having parents, moms and kids having kids at the same time, brothers and was it nieces and nephews or whatever, they all the same age in the same household. So it's no longer like a true like generation of people anymore. Like everything is now becoming intertwined and blended.
Right. Like this, like there used to be a community that will help you raise your kids. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
and don't try to
Kids
discipline
in
anybody's
mind.
child nowadays.
Huh?
I said, don't try to discipline anybody else's child nowadays.
Don't even try to say anything to them that they're
Right.
doing anything wrong, because I think it's. Do you think there's any? This is a good question. Do you think there's any possible way for the Black community to get back to the way it used to be, as us working together? Do you think we are that far gone that we can't? Like, I don't know. I'm on the borderline.
Yeah, that's a good question though. You will want us to get back to that, but like it goes back to you can't talk to mine like that, and I'm not here to help you if you're not willing to help. People have become so selfish and self-centered as a society. Like there, it's blinders on. I mean, you see it when you're driving, you see it just like in people will walk through the door and they see you coming behind them and just let the door close in your face. Like, what is a 5 more second pause? Like, just to hold the door for the person behind you. Yeah.
Everything, community help is dead. You know what I mean? Selflessness is dead.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, and we gotta put these devices down. People are beginning to think that social media is really like reality.
Well, I think that social media is good for adults. You know what I mean? Like for things like this. You know what I mean? For encounters like this. But for a kid up to a certain age, should not be even involved in any social media type. Because there's not even kids that are learning to be kids anymore. You know what I mean? Like whatever happened to going outside and playing, to seeing nature, seeing things grow, picking flowers, burning ants. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be. You know what I mean?
With the magnifying glass or something.
Yeah, there's a little torture there, but you mean
no, but it's about
you're torturing your mind. You know what I mean?
And like I remember, like my youngest son probably gets away with it a little bit more. One, because I'm tired. But the second is the fact that he's the baby, and most younger kids get away with everything. But for the most part, like the TV in my house doesn't come on during the week. And people are like, so what does your son do to entertain himself? He has books. Yes. He has books. He has toys that he plays with. Like even his handheld games, he doesn't put those out to the weekend. And they're like, what? He has access to a cell phone, but he doesn't have a cell phone he carries to school. I still have a landline. So when you get home, you need to call me from the house phone.
Right.
So like he is, and people are like, he's just so unique. No, he's a kid. He's 11 years old, and that's how I treat him, like an 11-year-old.
And you know that's funny that now like you are teaching your kids the way that kids should be taught as kids, and they're having that real kid mind, and now people are looking at them like they're crazy, like they're unique. No, this is the way kids are supposed to be.
Right.
You know, see, they're not supposed to be on the laptops or TikToking and doing all it. You know what I mean? Like when I see these, just scrolling on like my Instagram. You know what I mean? I have to keep scrolling real fast because it feels weird watching a little child do grown people things. And I'm like, my gosh, I can't even watch it. You know what I mean? It's wild. It's like come on. It's like, go outside, throw a pebble
Mhm.
in the water. You know what I mean? Like I had a great time being a kid. Like all I wanted to do was go and ride my bike or climb a tree,
And
do a
even if it
backflip off
was,
the bench.
even if it was outside, just in our backyard, like
Right,
it was just the fact that I didn't want to be cooped up in the house. I could sit out, put a blanket outside and just lay, but I
right.
was outside in fresh air. You know, um, I know with the programming, the my summer camp, they know I don't play those games. They're like, just love to make sure we're outside twice a day. Yeah, yeah, you're getting fresh air.
You
Like
need
you could play in the gym anytime, but we're going outside. Like it's crazy. I've had to teach kids these how to play Foursquare.
wow.
Yeah, and but when they learned, that's all they wanted to do. Like I had to buy rows and rows of floor tape
Yeah,
because they were like, "Can we play Foursquare today?" And I'm like, "This is what we grew up doing."
right.
Um, I mean, it's those things that are
And
lost,
but you see like that natural kid activity, they're all into it. You know
and
what I'm saying? You could
and
take
it's
that
at any
away
age. Like
because you know, yeah,
even my teens, we did an activity. We did a snack and paint. Um, because some of them are already sipping, so I couldn't name it paint or sip. So we had to do snack and paint. And so,
I'm like, I remember
and the first one we did, we painted pumpkins, but you have to with teenagers, you got to make it a competition.
yeah,
So we did the best painted pumpkin,
uh,
but they painted like 15 pumpkins, and it was supposed to be a 1 day event, and it
mm,
lasted like the whole week. They're like, "Can we paint pumpkins? You got any more pumpkins for us to paint today?"
right.
And I said, "But when I mentioned that we were gonna paint pumpkins, like who does that?" But once y'all got in there and realized, like, this is still fun, and I mean, they were in there for like 2 hours, just painting pumpkins, and that's what I like to see. I like to
Yeah,
take them out of what they're normally involved in, and
mm,
reminding them that at the end of the day, y'all are still youth.
that's training your mind to
Mhm.
natural brain development. You know what I
Right.
mean? Using your imagination. Like to be honest with you, I've noticed like just growing up as an adult, I'm losing my imagination. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
there's nothing to really imagine. You can't imagine anything. It's everywhere. If I want to know about something, click, click, click,
Yep.
find it. Click, click. There's nothing left to my imagination because I can just get it and see it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, a perfect example with my daughter. So me and her mom is totally different. She's a
Okay.
little more modern. You know what I mean? So she spends two grand on her third birthday. I'm looking at her like, oh, you can have that for bills. You can do this for that,
You
this and
never
that.
remember her third birthday.
She got all these toys, right? Guess what she wanted to play with? The box.
Socks.
That's it. She had a field day in a box. It was a spaceship. You could turn it around. It's a boat. You can do this. It's a tunnel to the next dimension. You know
Right.
what I mean? Your imagination. And all that money that you spent on the toys, you don't even play with. It's trash right next to you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. It's craziest things that people are stopping to just change the whole outlook of raising kids. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's wild. It's wild. It's wild.
Were you ever at Christmas time? Did you ever get the insert for the Toys R Us and circle all your toys that you wanted, like your wish list of toys?
No, there was no wish list in the house. No.
Oh, well, that's why it's called a
It
wish
was like
list.
what my mother did was she said name four things that you want for Christmas, and I'll think about getting it. You know what I mean? So like something on that, like she'll get you something, but they put it like a list. There's a couple things you want for Christmas.
Right.
And she'll pick like one or two. You know what I mean? And then
So
if there was a lot of gifts, you'd be happy. But when you look at them, they're not the things on the list at all. They're the necessities. Like, oh,
right.
I need socks for next year. They're big
Mhm.
enough to last a couple years. She always got the things that we needed, not the things that we want.
Want
We'll get like two things that we wanted.
And
You know
so
what I mean?
that's how it was. Like I look at even now, like I look at these parents, like you said, spending all this money like on holidays, and I'll never forget one year middle child, he wanted a VCR. I was like, well, why can't we just get it like a new DVD player? Because we have DVDs. And it's all he wanted. Like, that's the only thing he asked for. He's like, Mommy, can I get a VCR? Mommy, can I get a VCR? And I'm like, for what? He said to watch Little Rascals. I'm like, but we can get Little Rascals on DVD. He was like, but why get it on DVD when we already have it on VHS? I just need a VCR to play it. And I'm like, okay. So, you know me, I'm like, I bought him all this other stuff. And he like started crying. I'm like, what is wrong? He was like, all I asked for was a VCR. And I'm like, here, boy, here's the VCR. Like, dang. Like, it was a gift, but it wasn't, you know, I wanted him to appreciate everything else. And that's just, you know, and that, to me, that's just a kid. Like, this is all I wanted, Mommy. And you get me all this other stuff. And those birthday parties and stuff are not for the kids. It's for the adults to show off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
They're not gonna care about what you got your child like in a month. You know, you may be the talk of the town. Because I'm gonna tell them like, did you see all that money she spent on her birthday?
It's like getting a 4-year-old Jordans. Why? They want to run, play, get dirty. What is the point? You're spending like $200 on a 4-year-old's Jordan,
right? Yeah.
Because you want the next parent to see how well you're taking care of, or not, with the illusion.
Because right now we still struggling to pay this light bill.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I spent it on them Jordans because I want to look at my kid like I'm balling. It's wild the way things are going nowadays.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
well, we are coming to that hour mark. I am so happy to have this interview with you.
Thank you for having me. This has been enjoyable.
Yes. We'll definitely have more. And I'm definitely going to check out more shows on your show. It'd be nice, you know, have a conversation with your show. Go up there and say hello to y'all. How can I do that? How can I get into with your show?
We'll schedule it. And you're up there. You're in there like somewhere.
Okay, cool. We can do that. And like, what do you guys usually talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Y'all don't want to do. Remember what show this is? We
okay, nice, so we're gonna find a topic and we're gonna talk about it. Never mind.
Yeah, you know, I'll go to like, well, you know what?
Yeah,
nipples on the back.
We'll leave that conversation. We'll leave the conversation.
I want to talk about nipples on your back. You know what I mean? I'll say something.
Yeah, no, we'll leave that conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna have to discuss that one. But like I said, I really appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you.
Hell of an interview. It was great. We're gonna have to do this again.
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm.
And let them know where they can reach you again. And we'll go
it's
to the
d2rinc.org. Is where you can get all our podcasts, all the information of all our programs that we offer. So come check us out.
Nice. Everybody say bye to Sharice. Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, babe. I'll see you later.
Okay, take care.
You too. That was Sharice Lovett. That was a great interview. Wonderful interview. Good people, always. Yes, today's Saturday, and we do interviews on Saturday. That one was beautiful. It was a great interview. She's a great woman. And that's how you get it out the mud. You know, you just have to stay focused and, you know, pretty much take some advice of how she got it in. She realized, you know, what she was dealing with, and she wanted to keep going and strive for what she really wanted. And that's pretty much what you have to keep focused on. Keep focused on yourself and what you are, your purpose, what you're here for. And it's not to sit around and do nothing. There's no purpose in that. So, yes, that was Sharice Lovett, and that was a great interview. And for right now, we got to pay those bills. It was a great conversation, so I didn't want to pay the bills in the middle of a great conversation. Natural skin bliss. Our product varies from body creams, massage oils, exotic soaps, scented sprays, oils, perfumes, and candles. And that's not where it ends. We supply so much more. Natural Skin Bliss isn't only a product, it's a blissful experience. And yes, it is. And today I am wearing the Luck, what is it? Love and Luck, sorry, Love and Luck Ed Hardy edition, because I want to touch myself when I smell myself. It's just a wonderful thing. And I might have to do that again when we get on the show. It's the way I smell. Remember, hit up Miss Lee right on my page to get that product. Them smell goods are so good. We also got candles. We got more. We got much, much more. Like I said, the masks are in. G Lady and G Men masks are in. We still have more product coming soon. And that's our show for today, ladies and gentlemen. My G Men, my G Ladies, love you all. And we are out.
Savage. 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 Savage.